So, hey guys, welcome back to another exciting video or stream. In this particular video, firstly, if you don't know me, my name is Manas. I build this kind of crazy projects. Uh, so, without wasting any time, let's just go inside the video and let's understand the system, what we are building, what is the problem statement, and how this is going to help you to get the job. So first thing, if you don't heard about E2B sandboxes, this is the same technology that the Bolt will become up, but the Bolt will become up the web containers, and their product is Bolt, but their main selling product is web containers. So Stackblit is the company that make the web containers. So using the help of the web containers, you can run your code on browser. So it can run the commands in the browser just like npm install, cd, and all of the other commands. So this is the web containers, and same thing is the sandboxes. Sandboxes is little bit different, but it will be giving us the same thing, just like web containers. Sandbox is open source. You can go through their code base and make the contribution if you are able to do that. But before I'm going to start and telling you what we are doing, let me just quickly check my voice and all of that stuff. Okay, give me the bit. I hope my voice is right now clear and understand. Uh, I will be just signing to my. Oh, okay. It will be asking me. I think so. I'm just continue from here. Okay. You can feel free to ask me in the chat section also. So this sandbox, if you heard about the Lovable and Bolt, so they are the AI agent, and AI agent can write the code, and you can see the preview in the preview tab. So the preview is coming from this kind of sandboxes. Before the sandboxes are coming, we have the web containers, but the after the sandboxes is come in the picture, we can use the sandboxes because it's pretty easy. It will be take less than a second to run your code. You can see that, you can feel it is very fast. It's like an your own virtual machine running on your tab. And if you talk about the sandboxes, by the way, this is not a sponsor, everyone is using. If you go inside the billing, you just need to create your account, and they are giving you the $100 free credit just creating account. So you can feel free to use that. You can create the API limit. You can set the budgets, usage, how many live containers, or different webhooks you can integrate with the Python, Anthropic, OpenAI, and you can go through their documentation basically, and you can understand each and everything. And this is the system that we are going to build. We are going to build not exactly the replica of E2B because it's very hard. It's very hard to replicate end to end, but we are covering the certain level. And definitely this will be useful. You guys are actually using this, mark my word. Okay, so just a bit, I will just see. Okay, so this is our different zones that I'm going to divide my application. So let's start understanding what the blue region is telling us. This is a client. This is the whoever calls your sandboxes could be your AI agent. Basically, the customer, and you can call on this layer, on this layer. This is the API server, and this is the client side. So they talk to your system via HTTP and WebSockets using the SDK and API layers. So you build it in phase 5. So we are also making this in phase 5 also. But just for the starting, I'm also add the comment here. The next is Express API server. This is just like an sandbox post, sandbox create, delete, and like that. We are checking with the middlewares, rate limit, WebSocket server, and request router means if suppose we have bunch of sandboxes and we have a bunch of users. So how we are going to navigate to each one? So each user should access its own, not the other. So using that, we can make them isolated also. In the next phase, this is the orchestration, the brain. Sandbox Manager decide what Docker containers to spin up the register. It's simple. So we are just simply using the sandbox ID, container info, keep it in a memory. We are also doing time management, auto kills, uh, and you can see here it will. We are also allowing some kind of CPU and RAM to our containers, just like basic. Uh, 22 80 MB of RAMs, and we can decide after some time. And the next is our Docker layer and isolate engine. So this is the continuation of our phase one. So in this is a Docker layer. Every sandbox is equal to one Docker container. So back of the back of the scene, everyone, if you go with the what we say web containers, if you go with the sandbox and whatever, uh, they are using the Docker containers. Only the difference is what is the how they are going to optimize their system. This is the main engineering thing. So each one is completely isolated, its own network, its own RAM, read only file system. So people and user cannot run the mal script in our system and cannot access the other user sandboxes. So this is your firecracker replacement, and you can spin up the n number of sandboxes. Just like here we have Node.js, Python, Bash, and you can add another also, and you can make this project in next level also. You can also add the cool functionality, just like AI. You can write the SDK, just like for the entropy. So just like AI SDK, virtual AI SDK will be provide us. Like let's not do this right now because this is already a complicated one project. Uh, if you don't understand this right now, so it's okay. uh, this is the first time you are working with system design diagrams. I know whenever I start building these diagrams, I also get overwhelmed. So what is happening? I don't understand how this arrow will be going to work. It's okay. Just bear with me. Just stay with the video. Just stay with the project. Try to do code live with me. I'm also taking the pause. I'm not rushing you. And this is our the execution engine. This is the main brain. What happened inside the containers? Code runs, output stream back, WebSocket in real time, file upload slash download happens here too. So we can manage each and everything from here. So let's start building it, and let's start from the scratch. So let me go and create the mkdir mini E2B, okay, E2B, and let's cd into it. Mini E, it's very hard to write by keyboard. And let's ls inside it, it's absolutely empty. And let's set up the npm uh, init /y. This command is we use for our Node.js project setup. You can also skip the y, but I just want to make it very fastly. That's why I'm doing that. I hope those who are watching uh, that can come until this point. Next things, we are downloading some kind of packages. So let me open this inside the Visual Studio so you guys are actually know how the packages are going to be installed. If you remember, we have run the npm init-y command. Using that, we have make our package.json. So it's time to install some packages. What we are installing? We are installing Express, WebSocket, Docker Node, UUID, .env, helmet, expect rate limit. Let's click on enter and wait until it's finished. So while the time it's happening, I will be split my container and wait for a bit uh, and run one more installation command. If you see, we have generated, not we have, it will be generated automatically. Okay, uh, let's hit the enter again. In that we are installing the what we say यार इसको क्या बोलते थे मैं भूल गया इसको बोलते थे हम dev dependencies npm installed as a dev dependency typescript we are using then we are installing all of their types then all types of express websocket docker node uuid and like that. So let me exit this and let's go and set up the psc slash 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 in it. So using that, we are setting up our TypeScript project and we get our tsconfig.json file. You can feel free to modify that, but I have this own in that this is the important uh, code that you need. This is the root directory, this is the out directory. If you're working with TypeScript first time, then you might get overwhelmed, but it's okay, it's normal. And let's go and create the source folder, and inside that let's create one more called as types, and let's go and create the sandbox. If you don't know what is the purpose of sandbox, and sorry, if you don't know the purpose of uh, types file, then you might need to do code well. You need to do more code. So if you don't know, let me tell you. अगर आपको पता नहीं है तो मैं एक बार बता देता हूँ कि we have we make this folder to define our types. What kind of types that we have of our sandboxes, just like creating, running, killing, dead, this kind of. So let's go and export that type. How? Just the simple. This is the export type sandbox status, creating, running, killing, like that. You can also add another also, just like I don't know. I'm not getting right now. And let's add one more for the each map to the different Docker image, just like we have the node bash. You can add go and any other also right now, but just for the simplicity I'm doing this three. And let's write the interface, not like that, export interface and box record, and let's do id. So what interface is doing here? Interface we define as the sandbox record that we not created yet. This is the variable name. If suppose you pass you make the function export default page, and you pass that the sandbox record. So it's like a schema of one particular function. You got that? If you don't get it right now, it's okay. Whenever we create and use that, you will be get that at the time. So it's work like an strict. Okay, I made the container id. So so it is like an XOR validation. So we are not allowing any kind of other thing. Just like you cannot add the id if we pass id. So id will by default add string. You cannot pass the number. Same thing. Language is equal to sandbox language that we pass here. So you got that. So language is sandbox, and if you click here, you will get. And what kind of language we have? Node Python. So uh, if you add the JavaScript here, then it will not work. Because why? Because why? This is the this is what we say. This is the guard kind of. You can call this as a middleware. This is the type tree of uh, TypeScript. I must say that created at date and time out at date and timeout. Timer is Node.js dot timeout. So this is the inbuilt function. Let's go and create the create sandbox request. So in that we are passing what the client send when the create sandbox. Whenever the client will be create the new sandbox, what we need language and timeout ms. So let's go and export interface. This is also again the interface, CREATE and box. एज एन प्रोग्रामर मैं बहुत ज़्यादा सफ़र करता हूँ स्पेलिंग लिखने में. आई डोंट नो, मुझे दिमाग में स्पेलिंग क्लियर होती है बट इट्स प्रिटी स्लो while writing that. I don't know. Sandbox language and टाइम आउट ms इज इक्वल टू नंबर. ये एक नंबर होने वाला है कि हम कितने टाइम में इसको जो है किल कर देंगे. Next thing, we are writing create sandbox response. What kind of a response we are getting from the sandbox? It never expose container ID or internal time details. So this is the major security precaution that we need to take while writing the interface, because you cannot pass each and every detail in that, because some components is just like an server component. You cannot do that. Create sandbox response, this request. Okay, so you can see response. So ये response होने वाला है sandbox id होने वाली है हमारी string. Next is language, sandbox language. So you can see we can reuse the status होने वाला है हमारा sandbox status, obviously sandbox status, like that. And created. I'm so sorry for that. You can maybe writing this pretty fast. Timeout at thing. So the next thing is API error. I know this is not important, but just for the type safety, I'm adding that API error. Error होने वाला है हमारा string. Code होने वाला है हमारा again string. Status code होगा हमारा number. So why this matters? This is pretty important. You can completely skip that, but if you skip this, this is not the recommended step, by the way, guys. You need to follow, you need to make your application in proper way, so it can actually use in real world. And whenever recruiter will be see your code, so this is the good practice. Actually, you can make this on the separate file on top of that. Just like whenever you're writing the create sandbox API, you can add this export, but I'm adding this. So all things are in a place. मतलब कि एक ही जगह पर सब कुछ होगा, so it's easy to manage. TypeScript types are your documentation. When another engineer or feature you read sandbox records, they instantly know what is the sandbox is. The timeout timer, field store, or the record is key. So you need to hold set timeout. So timeout manage can clear timeout if it the sandbox skill manually before the time. So whenever the future, when if you make this in a team, if you make this project as your own SaaS project, then you are not the only one working on the code. So there are a bunch of other engineers also. They can make their own type, use that like that. So you got my point. So let's go and write the our configuration file, config file, single source of truth for the all configuration. Never scatter the process.env call extra across the code base. It's like a middleware. So recently I'm working with clerk middleware, and I have added the super functionality. Let me tell you what is that. Let's go inside the source and not create the folder. Let's create the config .ts file and import our not like that .env from .env. Okay, uh, .env.config. Let's set that, and function require require env. So this is the file that talk to our env and we use that. So we are not calling our env every time. So we don't need to write the process.env each and every time. We just uh, call this from here and this file handle the rest of the thing. Ideally, this is my approach, but let's say in future. And using that, we also type safe our environment. So you can see if we don't have value, then we need to pass the error. Throw new error, throw new error. Don't add the any kind of other error, just like non-retrievable errors. So that not make any point. Uh, Let me go and pass the key here. And this is my function undefined require. What's happening with that string key? I think what's wrong? I don't know. Return value. Maybe I'm not reading. That's why return. Yep, we got that. Let's go and create the one more function called as our optional. So some environment variables are optional. So let's write for that also. You can skip that. You can make every environment as an required. But sometimes whenever someone will set up your project that they don't have the entire env at once. So uh, to return process.env key and callback. Let's go and create the export call const config. After all the pre-checks, we are here for require env हमको रिक्वायर होने वाली है sandbox API URL. uh, so the API key is must send in X API key headers. So let's go. Maybe not. This is okay. I'm missing one thing here. Let's go and allow the port parse int optionally env होने वाला है ये. If user don't give us the port, then we can randomly take that any available port, but by default we set this as 10,000. So okay, and let's add a comma, and here we make typo. This is our API key. Okay, and let me do camel casing. I hope Docker. If you don't understand this file, it's completely okay. This file is a Docker socket file. Default work on Linux, on Mac. On Windows, this would be name piece. So you might just copy the entire code, and or you can just copy this for the Windows only people can copy this part and ask to ChatGPT, give me this for the socket, give me this for uh, the Windows. Okay, optional env होने वाली है हमारी, ये होगी. Let me do. ठीक है, ऑप्शनल. ठीक है, देखा मैं मेरी. ओके, मैंने काफी सारा ये कर लिए थे. Let's go and same for sandbox. सैंडबॉक्स के अंदर भी रिक्वायर्ड मैक्सिमम टाइम आउट. एक सेकंड में अभी आपको बताता हूँ कि क्या क्या Maximum timeout. This is the parent optional sandbox timeout. This is like a configuration. Uh, you can set the killing time here. I'm setting the 60 seconds. You can add your own, whatever. Okay. And let's add the resource limit per container also. So each resource that we are using is under our control. So let's add the memory limit byte. Uh, so let's do this. This is the 256 MB of per container, and let's go and add the CPU. You can, according to your system, you can increase or decrease that. And uh, this is for the 50% of one CPU core. Quota divided by period is equal to fraction. So this is the simple. You can go to the ChatGPT and make that also. And one last thing, how many sandbox can exit at once? So how many sandbox can run at the same time? Max con current sandboxes. You can parent int percent optional env and ये होने वाला है like that. मैंने syntax थोड़ा सा गलत लिख दिया क्या? ओके क्या हो रहा है भाई? वही मैं बोलूँ ये ऐसा है लिंक यस सैंडबॉक्स मैक्स टाइम आउट को कॉन्करेंट ये होगा हमारा 10. You can easily customize that value also. uh, Maybe we can add this. Okay, so it will be not giving us, and let's export this as this is constant. Okay, this value is never going to change. So let's add the middleware inside of our source. Let's close that. Let's create the uh, middleware. This is the middleware in that we are checking all the things or dot middleware.ps. Okay, so I hope my voice is clear, yeah. Uh, Let me check one more time. Okay, everything is. If not, then let me know in the comments. Those who are watching afterwards, after the stream ends. So this is our middleware. As in the name, you can change this to proxy. So clerk. The first time that I heard about the middleware is from the clerk. So let's import the request, response, and the next function from Express and configuration for config. In this, we are validating the X API key headers on every protected route. So there are public and protected route. If you work with the clerk, then you might heard the public. And if you work with the TRPC, then you might know the public procedure, private procedure, the security node, the security node. We use the contain time comparison to prevent timing attack. So it's like and same thing like DDoS. Uh, uh, you can imagine as a native is equal to comparison could leak information about the key length. So you can understand that through the response timing difference, how much how much time our response, what is the difference between one response to the second response like that. So let's go and write the export function or middle key middleware. We are require request response is equal to response and next is equal to next function. You can easily uh, modify the syntax, but this is the syntax that I mostly uh, familiar with. And let's go and let's first thing that we need here is API key, and this API key is okay. This is a request headers. We are getting this from headers, and it's API key. Okay. So I don't know why this is giving me an uh, errors. कहाँ से आ रहे हैं भाई headers कहाँ से आ रहे हैं request headers. Okay, इसमें सीधा मेरा if let's go and type of what kind of what is the type of API key is equal to is not equal to. Let's go and modify my original code string. If API key is not string, then time safe equal. This is coming from crypto, so I don't want to use that here. So timing safe equal. I just check one more time. API key config dot API key. Let me, I just want to check one more time my original source code that I'm doing this in the right way or not, or maybe the optimized way is there, but request dot status. So in we pass the 401, and in the JSON we need to pass some object. So let's go and pass the error. You can invalid or missing API key, and code is okay, my speed is sometimes damaging me also. Uh, Unauthorized. I'm just checking, and status code is equal to 401. So, and let's go and return to the user. If our API key is not the string, and if that is the string, then we can easily move ahead. Uh, let's go and compare the two string in constant time. So for that, using that we can prevent the attack from the guessing the key one character at the time. So user cannot run the for loop for guessing the key by measuring how quickly your server responds. So our system will immediately know that time safe length. So time safe length, this is the function. A dot, it will be required a string. So this is the same thing, just like a we require as a string. Same thing is for the types. Sandbox required id contain, so you cannot pass the a here. It will be definitely giving you the error somewhere here. You can easily experiment with that, but currently for the time sake I'm doing this pretty fast. So if string must be the same length, if not they are not equal. So for that we still do the loop to keep timing constant. Okay, so if a dot length, we are checking the length first. As I say, a length is not equal to the b length, then in that we are just return. You cannot add any kind of comments here. If you want you can, but that's not the good practice. And let the result is equal to 0. And this is the pretty simple for loop that I'm trying to write. Let I is equal to 0, I less than a. I क्या हो रहा है? A dot length, actually length, and I plus plus. I remember my DSA days. I'm still very bad at DSA, but it's okay. What we can do in that. Character code at a character code at if this is the complicated one that you don't understand, and if you don't, then it's okay. I'm also return this. Just give me the bit. I get a call. Okay, so where we at? Character code add I. Let's go and return the result is equal to 0. So we are checking the length again, same thing. Just a bit. I will return on my fan. Just a bit. We are here. Fan चालू कर देता हूँ यार मैं एक सेकंड अपना. Those who are watching, put their name in the chat, guys. So ठीक है. So until now we are validating the. We can delete the unused import. So let's go and create one more called as services, and in that we pass our Docker service. Docker, I'm just checking my spellings, being very honest with you. Service.ts. So this is our Docker service.ts. Yep. Uh, okay, this is one of the most important file in the phase one. Believe me, guys. It's wrap up. It's wrap the Docker with the clean type method. So let's go. I'm just checking Docker service, CRVICE. Okay, it's the good practice every time you check your spelling. It's not the bad practice. You don't need to worry about that. ठीक है, मतलब मैं तो खुद को ऐसा मानता हूँ. Now let's go and whatever the language that we selected in the sandbox language in our types file. So map that language with the name, just like node with node 20 airplane, like that. In a phase one we use official slime image. In phase two plus you will be building a custom image with the pre-installed agent, just like Anthropic or whatever. But for now, let's go. So what we are doing, if you really don't understanding this simple code, then you might need to worry about your coding. So this code is whatever the languages we have. If you hover here, you can find Node, Python, and Please. So we can write this here, and we are uh, so this is Node equal to Node 20, Python is equal to Python 3. You can change the version. Bash is equal to, like that. If you pass something different than this three, so that might be a string. You cannot add a number here. Just like if you pass the string, it will be done. But if you click the number, it will be definitely give an error. The object literal mesh specific does not exist the record sandbox. You can see the sandbox language, either string or the sandbox language. So you cannot, this is the type safety. You can add it. This is the completely your call. You can add, uh, you can, if you want, you can add, and if you don't want, you don't. The next thing is the language command. Just like the command each container run start, just like we have the node sleep infinity. It's just a sleep. Will exact code into it later in phase 3. This is just for now. This keep the container always alive and ready to receive commands. So it's not like the Docker containers. We write the sleep commands, we write the kill commands, but in that we container we are not killing. The container is running for 24 by 7, and it will be open for commands. You can run the commands quickly. So that's why sandbox is pretty faster than the web containers. The spawn container, uh, container, and container ID, and in that we pass this as an our UUID next. So we pass container ID is equal to UUID in our next pages. So let's go and let's write the Docker service, wrap the Docker node library. All Docker API calls go through here. No other file touches Docker directly. So using that, we can always be type safe. No one should uh, edit our mm, our Docker code, so they cannot modify that. This makes it easy to swap out Docker for another runtime. Okay, it's pretty standard engineering code practices that we used to do in coding industry. If you don't know about that, so Docker service and private Docker as Docker. Okay, and let's go constructor. Uh, then this Docker is equal to new Docker like that, and socket path config docker dot socket path. So we can easily, if you click over here, we can easily get here. This is the Docker socket path. You can change that. So this is the type safety. This is the things are getting complicated. And the next logic is pull an image if it's not already cached locally. So using the help of caching, we can save our compute time. So let's go. I need to check async ensure image. Uh, ensure image. We pass the language as sandbox language here, right? Either it's sandbox language or promise void. Either it will be language or void. It don't do nothing. Mm, image, uh, language image. So we make this initially here, and let's pass the language. Okay, bye. Pretty straightforward until now. We are not writing the jargon yet. Uh, try. Let's open try and catch. If this don't throw image exists locally. So if we have already cached image, then we can do that here. Await this Docker get image. Uh, image. We pass this as an image. If you don't image means we are doing this image, and this image is the language, and whatever language we have, so we can go forward with that. Inspect. Okay, but if you don't have that catch, let's write the catch. Catch is the pretty interesting one. Let's go open the console. After the long period of timing, I am writing the console logs, so interesting. So Docker service pulling image. uh, let's pass the image. What kind of image? If we don't have this here, then we can. So it's a reverse logic. Everyone is write this code inside the try, but I'm writing this in a cache. Okay, so let's go next, and I will be just see if anyone has any comment. No, then we are good to go. Guys, this kind of project will be take a lot of efforts to make it in a live, and I'm also try to explain you. So let's write promise void, as I say, resolve, not importing. Okay, hi, resolve and reject. We don't need to import that. This is the functionality. This dot docker pull uh, image error. Error is equal to error, or it will be null. If we have stream Node.js, node like not like that, Node.js dot readable string. Okay, is equal to what? Is equal to return. We are passing the error here, no? Error return reject error. Okay, so it's hard to digest, but Why we are getting error here? I don't know. I seriously don't know. Um, oh, this might be an arrow function. We are not error, and this is a completely typo. And let's follow progress. So wait until the pull. So this is the if we have theme, why we are getting error? Cannot find string. Okay, why? Don't know. But I think uh, error docker progress. Maybe we can shift this above, or I think it will be gone the error. I don't know. Resolve. Okay, अभी तो मेरा ये चल रहा है ना. So I'm just checking 1, 2. I just messed something. So if I add this, my error are gone, I think. And afterwards, let's add the console log uh, docker service image ready. And what image? Let's pass the image. So using that, I think what what is the problem with that? Expected. Let's quick fix. Okay, not wasting our time in this. Okay, let's go and let me check my original code base. What is happening here? So 1, 2, 3. This is the okay. Let me do this. Okay भाई एक सेकेंड देना यार because ये function काफी ज़्यादा important है हमारे लिए. Uh, is that right? This is the original source code that I used to write. Uh, okay, actually we are on a right track by the way. So next thing is spawn a new isolated container for the sandbox. Security headers applied here. Network mode none. No internet access. Change the present force in phase 4. So I'm not confusing you right now. Let's go and let's write async spawn container. Okay यार ये मेरे uh, container. What kind of language? Language is equal to sandbox. सैंडबॉक्स ओके मैं क्यों एक्सेस नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ मेरे सैंडबॉक्स को ओके 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 भाई पता चल रहा है मुझे सैंडबॉक्स लैंग्वेज ठीक है दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ कोड यू इमीडिएटली नो कि आप कहाँ पर मिसिंग कर रहे हैं whether it will be promise promise for what on container or okay and let's pass await await this dot ensure image we have already. If we don't have, then we are spawning now. But so we are pre-checking it here, so we can save our compute cost or like that. You आपको पता चल जाएगा. मैं बार बार तो एक चीज explain नहीं करने वाला. Container await this dot docker dot create container. Something nice. Create container, and we have passed the image as our language image, and let's pass the specific image here. And the cmd we need some kind of commands to run the container na. So let's go and pass the language command as our language. Okay, you got my point. Let's add some Labels. Labels let us find operated container or restart. So let me add the labels here also. Just give me the bit. Okay. ओके ये अलग ही अपने इससे आप पे कर रहा है कहाँ पर एरर दे रहा है ये मुझे ओके इसको देखते हैं बाद में चलो अभी देखते हैं हम होस्ट कॉन्फ़िग की मतलब इसको होस्ट क्या हम करने वाले हैं ये आइसोलेटेड है रिसोर्स हमने इसको अलॉटेड किए हैं बिकॉज हमने तो उसको बस अभी मिडलवेयर के अंदर ही लिखा है ना तो वी नीड टू pass that resources and isolation in here also so let me go and copy our host config because okay the function was declare the type undefined void or neither return value interface from st कहाँ पर भाई on containers here okay इसको देखता हूँ मैं बाद में you can maybe I'm adding the uh, commands here for this is a pretty simple stuff if you go through that you can easily understand so I'm not wasting my energy on explaining this so let's go and await await container dot start so let's start that container after allowing this all the resources okay so and return also container id at the starting we pass that container dot id ठीक है यहाँ पर हमने पास की थी ना कहीं पर कंटेनर आईडी कहाँ पर गई ये देखा यहाँ पे ठीक है ओके so this and let's write the functionality for if you guess it right kill container id you get that okay as an string so this is again the good practice promise if you don't have string then it might be a void so we cannot pass any malware in that just a second I just take the water break okay let's open try and maybe you can pre-check here if you don't have container id or not uh, but just for the now इतनी भी सिक्योरिटी मत ऐड कर देना कि कोई अपना सैंडबॉक्स रन कर पाए ओके मतलब शुरू शुरू में मैं ऐसा सोचता था कि जब मैंने नई नई कोडिंग सीखी थी कि मैं इतना सिक्योर ऐप बना दूंगा कि कोई उसको हैक ही नहीं कर पाएगा तो ऐप बनता ही नहीं था या फिर बनता था तो मैं खुद उसको यूज नहीं कर पाता था तो दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ प्रोग्रामर कि आप मतलब सोचते सब है लेकिन एक्चुअल कर बहुत कम पाते हैं कि इतनी अच्छी तरीके से सिक्योर करना एप्लीकेशन को इट्स वेरी हार्ड बाय द वे ये क्या लिखना था मुझे ओके and let's open the catch and pass the error unknown container might already be dead this might be a case after some time because we are adding the time boundary also to our system so maybe container is already dead so message error instead of what error 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 dot message it might be a string maybe we can write that way error or if we don't have message include, our message is not include, no such container, no such container. And if we don't have message dot include, don't have, is not running, is not running, then in that case the operation that we are going to do is the pretty simple operation. We are just throwing the error. Okay, so the last one is the list uh, the all containers on the server startup. Find any container from the previous runs that we left behind. Example, server crash mid session, so that might be a case. Async list, or this is also the promise. Either it might be a string or nothing. Const containers is equal to await this dot docker dot list containers, where filter करेंगे, filter uh, on what basis, label, label होगा mini E2B sandbox true, true. Okay, uh, or yep, I got my error. Okay, अभी ये चला जाएगा, and return containers dot map all containers dot id. Okay, this is the whole file we used to write. This is our entire service. Maybe you can understand that why this file is important. Those who are watching until here, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. I hope my stream is smooth. Recently, I'm thinking to get back to the streaming and make this kind of crazy project, because this kind of project is not exist on YouTube, and this is the gap that I find out. And this is pretty easy. You just need the first principle understanding. Uh, let's add one more service here called as sandbox dot manager dot ts. Okay, this is our sandbox manager. Using that, we can manage our sandbox. So let's go and manage our sandbox. Let's start from importing things. Okay, UUID, Docker service, configuration, sandbox record, language, and request and response. And the next thing we used to write is sandbox manager is a single source of truth for all sandbox, its own registry and control the full lifecycle. It's a singleton, one instance share across all route handlers. So let's write our first export class sandbox manager, not the language, Mager manager, the registry sandbox ID, sandbox record. A map is 0/1 lookup. Importance when you have many sandbox. So we need to manage our sandboxes, so we cannot make things in air. So you cannot hang things in middleware. So you might need to manage them perfectly. Manage sandbox record IR record. Okay, This is the private Docker uh, Docker service. Okay, not like that. This is the service only. Docker. ये क्यों हमको एरर दे रहा है? I don't know. Maybe constructor Docker. This is not the right syntax. I think Docker is equal to Docker service, and this Docker is equal to Docker. Then we create the new sandbox. This is the critical part. Keep it fast because sandbox will never take some time. So we need to be pretty fast. Create a request, uh, create sandbox request, and promise to create sandbox response. So whatever the response we are getting here. So we are safe language is sandbox language is equal to request dot language and or it's node. By default we are selecting node. Const timeout ms. So you right now we are just connecting the nodes. Okay, and this is just the phase one, and you can see we are upgrading ourselves very well. Request timeout ms config dot config dot sandbox dot default timeout ms. Okay. Next thing is config dot sandbox dot max timeout ms. Okay. Client cannot exceed server max. So this is the pretty important line that we used to write here. Let's add the if clause here. This dot registry dot size. If we are oversizing the prevent the server from big overload. This is the important one. If someone hit the big data to our server cannot able to manage that. So this is the checkpoint for that. So we already create this inside our new types. So you can easily add and change your types here. You don't need to go each and every file separately. Did you understand this structure? This is the very powerful structure that used to write in industry, and and you can easily sandbox. Just a second. Firstly, I'm write that and then I'm discuss that. Sandbox uh, limit error क्या होगा भाई इसकी लिमिट का? ओके मैक्स कॉन्करेंट. ओके मैं जस्ट कॉपी कर रहा था फटाफट से. ये तो मैं फटाफट से टाइप भी कर सकता था. ओके sandbox limit error. Sandbox limit error. We are getting error. Don't know why. Sandbox limit error. This is the if clause. Uh, throw new sandbox limit error. Okay. Don't know why. Hmm, ठीक है. if clause के बाहर आते हैं and const sandbox id is equal to UUID version 4. You can use the different also created uh, created at new date to be date को and also the const time out at new date created at get time plus timeout ms. So we can get the timeout at. So ये कब शुरू हुआ है? और उसको हमने क्या टाइम मतलब 60 मिनट, मतलब ये अगर 12 बजे शुरू होगा तो 60 सेकेंड या फिर 60 मिनट, आई डोंट नो। ये उसको कैलकुलेट करके वो दिखाएगा कि ये कितने मिनट के अंदर डिलीट या फिर बंद होने वाला है, ठीक है। आफ्टर ऑल दिस प्रीचेक्स, ये एक बार मैं देख लेता हूँ। कैन नॉट फाइंड सैंडबॉक्स लिमिट एरर, शुड आई मेक सम मिस्टेक? नो। create sandbox response, promise. Let's go and spawn the actual container, ठीक है, after all of this pre-checks, because we also need to create the container also ना, तो ठीक है। const container id await this docker spawn with this language and this sandbox id. Schedule auto kill. So let's go and let's auto kill also our system. So after the time hit, our system will automatically kill the kill is also getting the error. I don't know why error is also giving me an error. I don't know. Okay, let's go. Kill sandbox manager property kill does not use sandbox manager. Sandbox manager कहाँ पे भाई? Sandbox manager यहाँ पे। Sandbox manager, sandbox manager करके कुछ तो मैंने बनाया था लेकिन वो दिखा नहीं मेरे को। Sandbox manager, sandbox manager, sandbox manager भाई क्या हुआ? Okay, export class sandbox manager, sandbox manager. Okay, you can sandbox manager I made. ओके, मैं एक बार देखता हूँ इसको क्या हुआ क्या है, लेकिन अभी के लिए तो मैं इसको पूरा कोड आपको जिस्ट के अंदर भी दे दूंगा अगर मैंने कुछ चेंज वगैरह किया तो। लेट्स गो एंड टाइम आउट एट टाइम आउट टाइमर डॉट। ठीक है, मैं एक सेकंड ढूंढ रहा हूँ मैं क्या हो क्या रहा है। वेयर इज द एरर? आई एम नॉट फाइंडिंग दैट। भाई 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 भाई। ओके ओके, लेट्स कंटिन्यू यार। const record sandbox record id is equal to sandbox id, then container id we required, language we need, status by default is running because we are in the running state. uh, Not in the running state, we are making time more time, and that error is gone. This registry dot set sandbox id or record. Okay, console dot log sandbox manager created a sandbox id and sandbox language. Okay, return this dot to response record. Okay, let's go and add the kill the sandbox by public id. एक सेकंड, मैं इस पूरे कोड को ही कॉपी कर लेता हूँ एक बार और देखता हूँ क्या। ओके ठीक है, हम कहाँ तक आए थे? किल सैंडबॉक्स बाय इट्स आईडी, यहाँ तक आए थे हम लोग। हमने किल कर दिया सैंडबॉक्स को। Then get the sandbox record, use the exact engine in space 3. So this is the next, just for now. On server startup, kill or override container from the previous crash. Okay. Custom errors, you can add your custom errors in your limited error and like that. So one last thing is remaining is, no, actually the two last remaining. We have not created our server and route also. So let's go and create sandbox.route.ts. So inside that, let me go and copy ये क्यों error दे रहा है? Services, maybe I services sandbox manager dot js or ts. What is the initial js? Okay, ये js था क्या? Uh, sandbox route ये हमने बना दिया और ये from dot slash uh, services slash sandbox manager. Okay, dot ts. ठीक है भाई. Route handler are parse the request, call the service, return the response, like that. So let's write our uh, handle error again. ठीक है भाई. ये let's go and write the delete one also. Kill the sandbox. Using that we can kill the sandbox. Repair is giving me an error. Okay, get the sandbox. Get the one specific sandbox. So this handle error is a function. ये अभी हम solve करेंगे. Okay, and अभी क्या error आ रहा है? Uh, okay, as an string. So discard that. Await, delete. Let's go and let me see. Await manager kill. Manager is coming from where? Manager is here. Sandbox manager. Sandbox manager here. And request params ID. Request params ID. So request params ID. Request params ID. We used to pass that. Okay, obviously. Uh, I don't know why this is giving me an error. Let's go and add. Yes. Sandbox. Dot sandbox manager. ये वाला है. ये JS क्यों आ रहा है लेकिन ये नहीं समझ रहा मुझे. ये वाला भी हम इंपोर्ट कर लेंगे, एरर को भी हम इंपोर्ट कर लेंगे। अभी ये बराबर काम करा भाई, पता नहीं क्या हो गया था। मे बी वी आर ऑन, ओ या आई गॉट द पॉइंट। पता नहीं, ये सोर्स के अंदर मुझे राउट फोल्डर बनाना था ना, राउट के अंदर अभी ये सर्विस में मूव करूंगा। ओके, द डिफॉल्ट लाइन इज करेक्ट राइट नाउ। अबे यार फिर से क्या हो गया भाई। सर्विसेज सैंडबॉक्स मैनेजर, इसको भी कर लेते हैं, लेकिन फिर भी ये एरर नहीं जा रहे हमारे। आर वी मेक सम काइंड ऑफ टाइपो समवेयर, आई डोंट नो। सैंडबॉक्स मैनेजर, if anyone know please let me know yaar guys that someone is watching. So let's go and write our server. Let's write the server.ts file. This is the entry point. Okay, our whatever thing that we write in phase one. ठीक है, इनको भी हम फिक्स कर देंगे थोड़ी देर में। Let's go and set up our the express. Okay, and then use our helmet. It's like an security headers on top of helmet sets security HTTP headers automatically, prevent clicking, jacking, mini snapping. I don't know. AI will recommend this me, so I'm just use that. So parse JSON bodies cap size 1 MB. So after all of these things, our system will get work and add the rate limit also. App dot use rate limit window, then dependency constructor construction. Okay, then the clean up the or page before accepting traffic. Then add different routes, just like this is the slash sandbox route. Next one is our health route. Health route is you can skip actually. Okay, and let's handle the unknown 404 route. Also, you can skip this also, yeah, guys. But I'm just doing that just for me because this is the code that work for me. I brought listen. Okay, and top level error handling for the bootstrap itself. ठीक है भाई, ये जो है ये जाएगा यहाँ पे। ओके, एंड अभी आप मुझे बताना कि एरर कहाँ पे आ रहा है। मिडल वेयर हमारा एरर दे रहा है, ये एरर दे रहा है, ये एरर दे रहा है। मैनेजर मिडल वेयर राउटर, और कौन है भाई रास्ते में, कोई नहीं ना। ठीक है, लेट्स डू द PNV. So this is our env, or maybe example, more precise, env.example, and let's go and create the Docker file, the main host of the show. Oh, where yes, I made Docker file. Okay, let's add the node. From the node, let's run work this sandbox. सो बाय डिफॉल्ट यहाँ पर आप वर्क स्पेस होती है, अभी मैं एक प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर काम कर रहा हूँ तो वहाँ पर वर्क स्पेस मैंने बनाई है, तो यू कैन इजीली चेंज दैट ऑल्सो. तो by the way, this project is not working. Why? Let me tell you. Okay, so we cannot add any kind of script, the dev script. If you see that, no, we don't have. So let's go and add the dev script here. So our project we can run and run that. Let's clear. Let's go ls and hope for the best. Mostly we are getting errors, so we are ready for that. Obviously, configure cannot find the module. कहाँ पर भाई? Server.ts. Okay, cannot find. Okay, let's see. Line number 21. लेकिन कॉन्फ़िगर तो यहाँ पर ओके, इसको कॉन्फ़िगर मिल नहीं रही. तो मैंने सोर्स के अंदर तो बराबर से बनाई है, कॉन्फ़िगर क्यों नहीं मिली इसको? लेट मी चेक. कॉन्फ़िग को भी मैं फिर से एक बार इंपोर्ट कर लेता हूँ फ्रॉम कॉन्फ़िग. तो आई होप अब इसको मिल जाएगी भाई. तो फिर से नहीं मिली. डॉकर सर्विस डॉट cannot find the module. Docker service dot js. Docker service dot js. Docker. भाई यार वर्किंग तो है यार, ये क्या ऐसा कर रहा है बदतमीजी. ठीक है, ठीक है गाइस, मैं जो है इन इन सभी एरर को सॉल्व करके आप लोगों से मिलूंगा पार्ट नंबर 2 के अंदर और फेज नंबर 2 के अंदर, जहां पर जो है हम ये सारे के सारे एरर्स को सॉल्व कर रहे होंगे. एंड इफ यू रियली like this kind of project, by the way, this project is not complete yet, but I can try my best to uh, complete this project as soon as possible. ठीक है, फिर अभी के लिए बस इतना ही. I hope you guys are really like it, and I so basically I can try my best to explain you, and already 1 hour 22 minutes stream is done. So I'm getting back in the stream industry. मैं ट्राई करूंगा कि मैं डेली स्ट्रीम करता जाऊँ, जो भी मेरा कंपनी का काम है वो भी आपको दिखाऊं कि किस तरीके से हाउ आई एम मैनेजिंग द सिस्टम डिजाइन, बैक एंड इंजीनियरिंग, lot of stuff. If you have any question or if you want code base, then let me know in the comment section. Okay, so if you guys see, we need a lot of energy to make this kind of tutorials and live. Okay, तो लाइव के अंदर थोड़ा सा दिक्कतें आती है. तो सेम टाइम वी कैन नॉट एडिट, वी कैन नॉट डू द थिंग्स. We can also solve this error at the live, but it's already 1 hour 23 minutes की स्ट्रीम हो चुकी है और कोई इंटरनेट के ऊपर इतने ज़्यादा अटेंशन मिलता नहीं है. So that's why I'm thinking we stop here and continue on the next part. So तब तक के लिए bye bye. And if you want code base, then let me know in the chat or comment section. I will be send you. Okay, bye bye.